I have released every Premier League player. Yes, all of the clubs in the English top flight only have greyed out players. These guys are not real players. All of the real players have gone. They have been released. Each club has been given the same reputation. So every Premier League club here have a 4-star reputation. So we're starting on a relatively even playing field here. And each club also have the same bank balance, around about the 50 million mark. Tottenham's randomly is massive. However, the rest of the clubs, generally about the same amount. And all of the clubs have a £40 million transfer budget. So I'm trying to make this as even as I possibly can. Now, I'm fully aware that these big clubs with rich owners will probably rise to the top here. And yes, I'm talking to you, Chelsea, and you, Newcastle. But we don't know for sure, and I want to see what happens. So before we crack on with the action, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, or if you're watching on TikTok, drop me that follow down there, you know. And let's crack on. So here we have the Premier League table. Everton start on -10 as they would in real life for a little bit of, you know, realism. And if we have a cheeky look at the season preview here, already some strange things are happening. So there are no players in the Premier League. So the current Media Dream 11, well, there's no one there. We have no players. And if we have a look at the clubs here, Man City are still favourites to win the league. Maybe because of the money. Newcastle second, again, rich owners. But then you've got Wolves and you've got Villa predicted to come in the top 4. With Man United down in 6th, Arsenal down in 8th, and Liverpool predicted to come level with Luton in about 14th place. With Everton, West Ham and Tottenham destined for the drop. What I have done is ensured that all of these clubs have kept their real-life manager. So as you can see as we go through, I mean, I know Steve Cooper's been sacked, but we'll move on from there. We've got Postecoglou there, Moyes is there, O'Neill is there. So the managers are still there. But there are just no players. So obviously we want to see who the clubs sign. We've tried to give them all the same transfer budget to give them all like a fair chance here. I don't know how this league table is going to look at the end of the season. It might just look the same as it always does. It might be complete chaos. I'm hoping for chaos, by the way. And we'll simulate a few seasons and we'll see if anything changes in England. We'll have a look at the teams. We'll have a look at who they sign. I think it's quite an interesting look. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what do you think will happen? In the comments, come down, type away, come and tell me what you think is going to happen here. But do it right now. Don't cheat and wait till the end of the video and then type it, you know? No cheating. No, do it now. So we've reached the end of the first season. Some strange things have started to happen. Chelsea have had a horrendous first season, by the way. Liverpool, Man City top 2. I think that's a little bit underwhelming because I wanted them to suffer. Is that mean? I wanted them to suffer a little bit. But with West Ham and Crystal Palace making the top 4. Not a good season for Tottenham or for Newcastle, really, or Villa or Arsenal. They've all really struggled. Rasmus Højlund signed for Bournemouth and he won the Golden Boot, which is pretty cool. Bournemouth actually got 5th in the table, so they're going to be playing in Europe next season, and I can kind of see why. They signed Højlund, they've got McNeil, Garnacho, they've got Smith Rowe in there, Decore, Garner. They've got a really solid team. And Liverpool are the champions. I mean, I can see why. Caicedo, Barrow and Barrios is a decent midfield 3. Mohamed Kudus leading the line. They've got Bassi at the back with Barco, the wonder kid Barco. Everyone's talking about Barco this year. Kenny Tete. I mean, their team's not that impressive, but, you know, they've managed to buy enough players to get an 11 out, which is more than most of the teams. And Nottingham Forest have ended up coming 20th and relegated. And I'm a little bit shocked by that, actually, because they did manage to get Mason Mount, Luis Diaz, Michael Olise, Casemiro, Ben Chilwell, and they're bottom of the Premier League. Forest actually only won 3 games all season. Darwin Nunez signed for Man City, got 19 goals, and Taremi signed for Fulham, got 17. Best player in the division, well, very close between Pedro Porro of Villa, Kulusevski of Man City, and Ricardo Horta of Luton. A few other notable teams to look through then. This is the United team so far after season 1. Andre, Havertz, Adingra, Isak, Jared Bowen, Lewis Dunk at the back, Vicario in goal, a decent team. Now, Arsenal had a shocking season, but they haven't actually signed that many players. They've ended up playing some of their new gens and their greyed out players, which is why they've not performed that well. However, a few notable names in there. Cucurella is in there, Mark Gahey's in there, Lucas Perry. They've got a few players. Benton Kerr from Tottenham. That's a bit controversial, but not a good year for Arsenal. And West Ham getting themselves Champions League football. Martinez, Gabriel, Colwill in there. Skip, Morita, Diaby, João Pedro. Decent side. And Chelsea have really underwhelmed. Not only with their season, but also with some of their signings. Dubravka in goal. They've got Craig Dawson, Joe Gomez. I mean, Chelsea had the same budget as the rest of the teams. Why have they ended up with such a naff team? Having a front three of Doku, Alvarez and Elmas, not that bad, but still. Go and buy some players, boys. I am expecting Todd Bowley to go big in the summer, though, so I'd imagine their team will look very different next year. So, could Crystal Palace win the Champions League? Could Bournemouth win the Europa League? Season 2, are you ready? Are you? Let's go. Season 2 review then, and this year it's Man City that took the title, not Liverpool. Liverpool have gone from Premier League champions down to almost relegated. They were bottom of the table for a long time and just about survived. And I'm also a bit shocked to see that Bournemouth, who actually got into the Europa League semi-finals, have been relegated. They came 18th and they will be going down. So the likes of Højlund and Garnacho will be playing in the Championship. Arsenal had a much stronger season, coming in second. Burnley have come third. Burnley. Unbelievable scenes with West Ham again. 2 Champions League finishes in 2 seasons. Chelsea have recovered, did it a lot better than they did in the first season, but still not fantastically well. United have got themselves into Europe, as well as Newcastle, just about. Darwin Núñez up there again with the goals, drawing top of the Golden Boot actually with Guirassy, who signed for Luton. Ivan Toney close behind with 15 goals, who signed for Liverpool. And Kulusevski again. I mean, he's having a great time at Man City. So, are you ready for season 3? And we've reached the end of season 3, and I'm a little bit disappointed because the table kind of looks as it would do in real life. The top teams have kind of risen to the top. The teams that aren't as spectacular have kind of like floated down the table, and it looks like a league table that would actually be realistic in real life, and that is not what I wanted to happen, to be honest. Chelsea and Tottenham are really struggling. I mean, that is a little bit of a shock, but is it really, Chelsea fans? Is it really? Crystal Palace have had some ride. Champions League football all the way down to being relegated. And Bournemouth, who did get into the Europa League, then got relegated, have now been promoted again. Shall we run through some of the squads? So we've done 3 seasons. Let's go and see what's happened to English football after 5 seasons. Zoom on to the future now. So I know I said I'd come back after season 5, but I thought I'd check in with you after season 4, because if you look at the table there, nothing really sticks out as being weird, right? Apart from one thing. Yes, Luton have made it into the Europa League, and I know what you're thinking, Mckins. Is that mad? Is it really? Well, wait till you see who their manager is. So one of the reasons why Luton are doing so well is because Jurgen Klopp has taken over. Yes, Jurgen Klopp is the Luton manager, and he is leading them into the Europa League next season. Now, to be fair to Luton, they have quite a team here. Nick Pope in goal there. They've got Kieran Tierney, Esri Konza in the team, Diamande, Coot Miners, Horta, Sade. I mean, it's a pretty good team. Man City have won the league again. Boring. But now we will zoom on to season 5 and see just how Luton get on in the Europa League. Bournemouth are back in the Champions League, by the way. So hold on. Let's just recap. They got Champions League. They got relegated. They got promoted. And now they're in the top 4 again. It's absolute chaos. Season 5. Let's go. So we've reached the end of the experiment and the end of season 5. This is the final league table. Crystal Palace have come rock bottom of the league after going down, after winning... No, getting in the top 4 and then getting relegated and then coming up again and now they're going down again. It's a real yo-yo situation for Crystal Palace. Man City have won the league for the 4th year in a row. I know it's boring. I mean, that's never going to change, is it really? West Ham are in the Champions League again. Bournemouth, I mean, Champions League, relegated, champions and promoted, Champions League, Champions League. What a strange ride for Bournemouth, being managed by Vincent Kompany. And joining them in the Champions League, it's Man United. That's unrealistic. Isn't that right, Man United fans? Sheffield United have come 5th, and Arsenal and Tottenham finally have had some good seasons. Now, we ended the last segment by saying Luton got 5th and got themselves into Europa League. However, I've got some good news for you. They did better than that. Because of the coefficients, Luton actually made it into the Champions League. And did they win it, Mckins? Did they win it? Well, they did get to the knockouts, though, and they lost to PSG, which is a real shame. And you know, we saw that Klopp was the manager. Well, unfortunately, Klopp got sacked. Sad times, I know. Guess who took over? You'll never guess. Zinedine Zidane. Zidane is the Luton manager. I know. I can't comprehend it either. Golden Boot winner, Marcos Leonardo. I'm not sure why he signed for Sheffield United, but there we have it. And Kulusevski has basically been Player of the Year for 5 years in a row. I've always said this about Kulusevski. Very good on Football Manager, a little bit overrated in real life. Now, in the comments, come and tell me what you think about Kulusevski, because I just don't think he's as good as people make out. But the best player in the Premier League was actually Gabriel Martinelli of Man City. And I'm sure you're all wondering, where did the absolute powerhouse players end up? Well, Mo Salah, after he left Liverpool, went to Barcelona on a free transfer, spent 4 seasons there, and ended up, are you shocked, chat? In Saudi Arabia. Kevin De Bruyne has spent the last 5 years at PSG after leaving Man City. Again, are you shocked? Erling Haaland did go to Al Shabab and spent 3 years in Saudi Arabia and ended up going to PSG for £105 million. Virgil van Dijk also went to Saudi Arabia and is now a coach. And Bruno Fernandes went to PSG for a couple of years and ended up at Milan. Guys, if you want any more information on any specific player and their career path on this save, in the comments, come and let me know, and I will, of course, reply to you and let you know how your player got on. But there we have it. What will happen if you release all of the Premier League players? Well, apparently Man City will still be unbelievable. And Chelsea, still a shambles. Isn't that right, Chelsea fans? Particular shout-outs, by the way, to Bournemouth, Sheffield United and Burnley, who have all had a fun time in the Champions League. And here's a look into the future for you. Anthony is going to sign for Burnley. He's the most un-Burnley player you could possibly think of. Hopefully, guys, you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video. It would really help me out a lot. I'd appreciate it if you did. If you've got this far into the video, you might as well go and give it a like, because you've watched the whole thing. You've watched the whole thing. Subscribe to the channel. Come on. And I'll see you all very soon.